The internet has become a breeding ground for sexual predators who use various tactics to lure young girls into dangerous situations. One such tactic is using the anonymity and accessibility of the internet to groom and manipulate victims into meeting in person. One such predator used the anonymity and reach of Facebook to deceive Ashleigh Hall into meeting him. He pretended to be someone he was not and used deception and manipulation to gain Ashleigh's trust. Once he achieved that, it was then that he came out as the real monster he was. In this video, we will discuss the real-life case of this horrific crime and explore the tactics that the predator used to groom and manipulate his victim, Ashleigh Hall. Who was the perpetrator of this heinous crime, and what was his background? How did he use the internet to lure and trap his victim? Ashleigh Hall was born in England. She lived in the quaint Warwick Square neighborhood in Darlington with her family. Ashleigh was living a beautiful life with her mother and 3 sisters. Their bonding was very strong. Ashleigh cherished every second she spent with her younger sisters and held her responsibility as the elder sister in the highest regard. She embraced the responsibility and took it upon herself to guide, mentor, and protect them. Ashleigh Hall was a teenage girl with a zest for life. She had a very vibrant personality. Her love for animals was undeniable. She loved music and frequently spent her leisure time blasting her favorite songs. After completing her secondary school education, Ashleigh went on to study at Darlington College to become a nurse. Despite the distance, Ashleigh remained close to her friends and family. She was an active user of MSN Messenger and would often use it to keep in touch with her loved ones, no matter how far apart they were. She was also a frequent Facebook user, and it was there that she came across a young man named Peter Cartwright. After a few weeks of chit-chat, it became clear that Peter was pleasant and amusing, and their relationship appeared to be developing. Peter started being lovely and expressing romantic sentiments for Ashleigh within a month. Ashleigh, who was naive, young, and innocent, accepted the advances and expressed her excitement to her friends about the developing romance. Later in October of 2009, Ashleigh and Peter decided to meet. Unfortunately, Peter canceled the first meeting, leaving Ashleigh disappointed and upset. But 2 days later, they rearranged a second meeting, and she agreed to meet him on a Sunday. On that fateful evening, October 25, 2009, Ashleigh received a message from Peter. He told Ashleigh that his father would come to pick her up and bring her to his place for a romantic evening together. Peter asked Ashleigh if she was okay with his plans, and Ashleigh agreed because she trusted him. She reassured him that if she trusted him, she would also trust his father. Ashleigh informed her mother that she would be spending the evening with a friend from college and that her friend's father would be the one to take her there. She had given her word to her mother that she would be back home by 10:30 a.m. the following day. To avoid any concerns, Ashleigh decided to give her mother false information about her evening plans. But she was oblivious to the fact that she was heading in the direction of her own death and would never return to her mother and sisters. When Ashleigh didn't return home the next day, her mother became worried. She tried calling Ashleigh's phone, but there was no answer. She also contacted Ashleigh's friends, but no one knew where she was. Ashleigh's mother grew more worried when Ashleigh's friends told her that she never showed up at her house that day and that they didn't have any plans to meet that day. Throughout the day, Ashleigh's mother kept trying to call her, but there was no answer. Finally, at the end of the day, precisely at 7 p.m., Ashleigh's mother, Andrea, received a phone call. No one spoke on the other end, but she could hear background conversations. She yelled her daughter's name repeatedly, but no one spoke to her. She called once more, and a man answered. He identified himself as a police chief inspector. The inspector told Andrea that a man had been arrested and had her daughter's phone in his possession. He told Andrea that he would contact her later. After hearing this, Andrea was extremely upset and panicked. Later, 2 police officers came to Andrea's house at 11:30 p.m. and told her that they had some bad news. They said they found a body and needed Andrea's grandfather to go to the morgue to identify it. Her grandfather went, confirming that it was Ashleigh Hall. Her grandfather said that it was the hardest thing he ever had to do and that no grandparent should have to go through it. The police officers informed Andrea that they believed Ashleigh had come into contact with the individual who had killed her through the internet. Ashleigh's family checked her computer and discovered that she had been communicating with a man they didn't recognize. They later learned that this man had been arrested for traffic violations, and his name was Peter Cartwright. However, upon further investigation, they discovered that Peter Cartwright was not real, and that the man's true identity was Peter Chapman. Peter Chapman was born in Darlington and was raised by his grandparents. He moved to Liverpool in 2005 at the age of 26. He returned to County Durham in 2007 and was charged with sexual offenses while living in Middlesbrough. He was first investigated as a teenager and received a 7-year sentence for raping 2 sex workers at knife point. He was released in 2001 and was no longer being monitored by the police. He had previous convictions for traffic offenses and theft. In 2002, Peter Chapman was arrested for rape, abduction, and false imprisonment in Cheshire, but was released without charge. In 2003, he was held for rape, but the prosecution dropped the case. He was jailed for 8 months in 2003 for failing to register his address as a high-risk offender. He was sentenced to 15 months in jail in 2004 for failing to register and report correctly. After completing his sentence, Peter moved to Langtree Road, Kirkby, in 2005. There he took a 20-week night school computer course at Kirkby's Brookfield Comprehensive School in 2006. He was involved in a hit-and-run in Liverpool in 2008, leaving a woman with a broken arm. He was circulated as wanted on the police national computer in 2009, nearly a year after he was last seen. On January 6, 2009, police officers went to his home to ask him about a traffic incident, but he wasn't there. The following month, various officers were supposed to visit him as part of the normal parole check process, but once again, he was not at home and did not respond. It had caused concern among the authorities, who were now trying to locate him urgently. Authorities started a national search for him in September of 2009. The police arrested him on October 26, 2009. During the investigation, he made a shocking confession to the duty officer, stating that he had killed someone the previous night. He needed to reveal the body's location to someone from the Criminal Investigation Department, CID. The man had been arrested for minor traffic offenses, but suddenly confessed to a heinous crime. He led police to a farmer's field near Sedgefield, where he kept the lifeless body of Ashleigh Hall. The police were horrified as they saw the body, realizing that this man had brutally raped and murdered an innocent soul. The man had lured her through the internet under a fake identity and then brutally took her life. Ashleigh's body was found tied up with tape over her face. Her body was abandoned near Old Stockton Road. The post-mortem report revealed that she had died from suffocation. In the beginning, Peter Chapman denied all the charges of the kidnap, rape, and murder of Ashleigh Hall, which was brought against him in January 2010. But as the trial was about to commence, he changed his mind and admitted his guilt. The prosecutor, Graham Reed, said that Peter created the fake teenage persona of Peter Cartwright, and then pretended to be Peter Cartwright's dad to trick Ashleigh into thinking it was safe to get into his car. The prosecutor stated that Peter's plan was carefully thought out and evil, and it worked. On March 8, 2010, at a court in Teesside, Peter Chapman was sentenced to life in prison for the rape and murder of Ashleigh Hall. The judge, Peter Fox, also set a minimum term of 35 years before Chapman is eligible for parole. Peter Chapman is currently serving his 35-year sentence in H.M. Franklin Prison, where it is hoped he will remain for an even longer period. A person who has demonstrated the ability to commit such odious and calculated crimes cannot be considered safe to be released back into society. Detective Superintendent Andy Riddick stated that this case should be a powerful reminder of the dangers of meeting people online, especially during school holidays. In March of 2010, Facebook warned children about the risk of meeting people on the internet and provided tips on how to stay safe online. They also expressed their sorrow and sympathy over the tragic death of Ashleigh. The murder of Ashleigh Hall highlights the dangers of online interactions. The perpetrator, Peter Chapman, had lured her using a fake identity. His actions had left a permanent scar on many lives. Be cautious when using the internet and take online safety seriously to avoid such tragic events. Ashleigh's death reminds us to be vigilant and educate ourselves about the risk of online interactions. Ashleigh's mother spoke about her daughter's tragic death and urged more action to be taken to keep track of offenders like the one who killed Ashleigh. She said, individuals who commit such heinous crimes should be kept under constant surveillance and should not be allowed to roam free in society. Thank you for watching True Crime Prime. Kindly subscribe to our channel and remember to like, share, and comment.